Hello, ladies and gentlemen. SeKo Starcraft bringing one of his replays, finally. A Zerg versus Zerg. The most hated of Sean matchups. Speed it up here a bit at the beginning. There wasn't a lot of action right here at the beginning. But as a Zerg versus Zerg on Whirlwind, I decided that I was going to play a fairly straight up game. But I'm going to wanted to play fairly safe at the same time. This is probably the first game I've played in weeks. It's been weeks, really. One trick that I've been learning watching some pros is the placement of the spawning pool is becoming a lot more consistent with putting it near the front of your hatch and burying it in these little spots so your queens are going to be more cost effective against ling trades. I'm going out for an early scout. We've got a hatch first from our friend over here. I just wanted to talk about that for a second. I'm going to go in a hatch right after that as well. Feeling pretty safe. If I get cheesed, I get cheesed, right? That's the way I looked at it. If it happens, it happens. I'll have to try and rely on my very rusty mechanics. Expansion. See the gas. The gas is a little bit further behind mine, but not much. Then my people go into there. I'm going to come down here and I'm immediately going to throw down 2 crawlers. Little bit over conservative, but it's too often for me to get bum rushed with zerglings. So my intention is to be able to make my stand point here at my natural. He's got his queens out nice and fast. He's got 3. I've also worked on 3. I'm going to try to put a little bit of creep to make my bases a little bit more connected. And I have overlords scouting for the natural thirds. He's going to go for a big wall off at the front. I'm sending out a zergling as my speed is about to finish. Like, great, this will be perfect time for me to scout to see what's going on. Screw you, achievements. I don't care. This is important. Go on, computer. Alright, still going. I don't care if you're connected to battle.net. So we're coming in here. This is an important scout for me, actually. As it gets up here, I see a full, complete wall off with crawlers. Lots of crawlers. Shut up, battle.net. That tells me on a 2 base, you see this, it generally means some sort of crazy tech. And I'm willing to bet it's going to be mutas. His lair hasn't started yet. I've started mine at a roach warren because I figured that's going to be the good safe bet against just about anything. And I'm throwing down a baneling nest, mostly for defensive banelings. That's really what the purpose of it is. Units wise, slight lead for me on workers, not much. Trying to keep ahead on that economy. I feel pretty safe seeing this kind of attack, this kind of defense. So I'm not too worried about getting out a little bit more drones. I know I've got a bit of time before his mutas are going to come out, which is what I'm predicting. Mostly because his lair is super, super delayed. Taking my other gases because I'm also going to go up to lair. I was debating going mutas, but I've stopped going mutas in ZvZ because spore crawlers are just too good. It's too easy if you scout it to get down the spore crawlers and just take a huge lead. Droning up to 35, just keeping a little bit of a lead. He's getting a big pile as well. We both feel pretty confident in the side of things. Few lings for me out at the watchtower. I'm going to send in a suicide overlord to see what's going on. Very important thing to do, just to make sure that the tech switches are very important. He could have gone for something other than mutas, but mutas are just so standard that I feel pretty safe in betting that. You see, I'm pretty undersaturated at my main because I had it rallied to my natural. I do end up sending more people back to that later. This thing does get spotted. I see the lair. I don't know how complete it is, but that means that he hasn't finished his mutas yet. Bases are connected nicely here. And I'm going to do a little creep at the bottom because I'm going to be going for a third pretty soon. That overlord lost its supply block me, so I'm producing a whole pile. It's too easy to lose those. Evo chambers, even though I don't think I can afford to use them just yet, I'm going to throw them down. And I've got to keep working on getting on more drones. Send a few links to the front just to see what was going on. Same deal. I almost know for certain it's mutas now. I'm going to send in another overlord here soon to double check. I should get overlord speed, but whatever. Some banelings, some lings here, just from basic defense. I know I've got a bit of time here to really try to pull out a lead in economy and the tech I want, which is going to be swarm hosts. I've never gone swarm host against zerg. So let's see what's happening. You see that the zerg player is already trying to bank up some resources. So I probably could have came in here with a bunch of roaches and just won. You see that he's worried about that as well and he's getting the spore to make sure that you don't sneak underneath, which is still clever. Few links, I'm actually going to spread them out around to different places of the map. just to make sure that there isn't some sort of expansion going around. And now I start throwing down all my spore crawlers. 3 here, 2 in the back. I like throwing them down in between the bases as well, so they don't just sit around and pick off little stuff. Pro players, what they'll do is they'll not waste their time picking up the little stuff, but amateur ones will. You see 9 mutas coming out, same with the speed. I'm still getting out a lot of drones. And my hatch is almost finished. Now I've got pretty good vision spread around the map to see when these things are coming, unless you really get sneaky. He's not worried at all about getting a third just yet. Here's all the mutas popping out. Is he missing a few? There they go. So I catch just a glimpse of this with my overlord, which you'd be smart to maybe pick some of those off, though I did over-make overlords. Queen down here, start my 3rd hatch. More drones, I just produced a bunch, as well as a hydralisk den. Couple more spore crawlers just to be certain. And now I just want to make sure I deny him getting a 3rd base while trying to move into my own. You see he's got a massive supply lead right now because of the mutas and the big pile of lings he just made behind this as well. His lings are getting 1-1, though that'll be a ways off. I haven't started any upgrades. You see him coming in here with these mutas. Transfuse. I mean, that guy's good as dead anyways. I'm not even worried about it. So he lost almost all of his mutalisks on nothing. You see I just made 7 swarm hosts. He's making a giant pile of zerglings now to attack. I didn't notice those, unfortunately, because I don't have the watchtower. Otherwise, I probably would have gotten more banelings than just the 2 that I have here. So, alright, my swarm host will pop here pretty quick. There comes this big pile. I do see this coming across now with my overlords. Happily, he pauses. The more time he gives me, the better. He's going to run towards my natural. I got enough time to burrow my swarm hosts. My lings are going to come back. They're down in upgrades pretty quick. He lost a big pile to those first baneling hits. Happily, he's only got 3 up here. My queen will deal with those. Now we get into a little bit of a tumble over this base. Now, I don't want to panic. There isn't too much I can do right now. I don't want to lose more queens. I don't want him to run by into my base. So what I'm going to do is produce lings and keep my locusts moving over here. This stuff, it's alright for him to kill my spore crawlers. I want the hatch to live, and I don't want him to run by. Happily, I've gotten enduring locusts finished already. Unfortunate for me, he's got a much better upgrade count. So you see, I'm trying to run back with my lings, and what I want to do is pull him into my locusts more than anything else. And he's not going to stay to fight the locusts. So I have enough now to feel somewhat stabilized. More mutas are now moving out. He has 3rd bases on the way, and unfortunately I'm not in a position to deny those just yet. Well, you see that his resources are really, really huge right now. He's in a better position to maybe go and do something with them. I'm going to come up to here to just because I think this is where his 3rd base will be. But I see nothing. Swarm hosts, swarm hosts. So he's actually got a pretty good upgrade lead on me. My 1-1 is about to finish, which I need for my locusts. 9 banelings I'm making down here. Because I know that he's got most of his units down here. So I'm hoping to get some lucky strikes on some of those. This base has been saved for now with the spores. So I'm going to go over there and do that. He comes in here and I don't catch this fast enough, unfortunately. So he actually manages to kill that spore crawler. See how quickly I can pull my drones here at least. Lost about 5, 6, 7. Lost about 8 before I pulled out in time. Pulled out. And now he's actually smartly going after my overlords. Right now I've been too distracted on other things. These 2 banelings are just sitting there. That's so funny. There we go. Just a couple of nice light hits. Just to show him who's boss. At least this base is getting saturated up. This hasn't done anything for him yet. He's not even... He's making 64 zerglings. Man. You see, for me right now, I've moved my locusts forward. My banelings have been getting really great hits. I don't know what this locust, what this swarm host is doing. A little bit of a misclick by me. Oh, come on. Those banelings weren't that good, unfortunately. Though my locusts with 1-1, even though they're 2-2 lings, nope, not 2-2 yet, are obviously cutting through that big time. And yes, he did kill a ton of overlords. You can see I'm supply blocked. And if we look at resources killed, killed 27 workers. It's not bad. He's actually not in a great spot right now. He doesn't have this third base up yet. He doesn't have anything in place to really deal with these. Roaches aren't the answer. It'd been nice for me to pick off these upgrades if I was paying more attention. But killing off his army I also feel to be fairly important. See behind us, I'm starting to move into Hydras. Trying to keep my injects going as best I can. So what I'm going to do is have Hydra, Swarm Host as my composition. I know these are all here. He can see my unprotected Swarm Hosts. I'm just hoping that with poor upgrades, it's going to take him too long to try to kill. That's too bad. It would have been really great to catch those upgrades. So his Zerglings are getting cut through here so badly. I'm just going to burrow for a moment. What I want to do is let another round of locusts come out before I move. So that way I can actually run them away with a little bit more opportunity to let some live. If I didn't let those spawn, the Zerglings would have surrounded them and I probably would have lost more. The Zerglings have the upgrades, not really the mutas. I'm making another 11 Swarm Hosts. Way overmade Swarm Hosts, but that's alright. Hydra's coming out with 1-1. Pretty good saturation over here. But as you notice, I'm not taking my gases. I've been playing off my gas bank pretty much this whole time. At least those are taken. 0. So I'm pretty much living off of 1 gas and a bank of gas. Out come the mutas. Now, there is a lot of mutas here, but these are 1-1 Hydras and almost the exact same number. So we can't really deal with those right now. He does have a decent amount of workers that have moved over here. Managed to pick off a couple of stray mutas here that were going after my lings. He's sending his lings back home because he wants to be able to defend that base, obviously. He's making 13 roaches. Once again, I don't think roaches are the right answer, though it's really difficult for me to say exactly what I think he should do. It'd been nice if I had gotten in there before. You can see he's got some more mutas up here just going after some overlords. I'm going to select them all and run them back into the spore crawlers. I have a lot of overlords, so I'm not super worried, but I'd rather not lose them super easy. Hydra's up here, doing a pretty good amount of damage. Looks like he's going to get here just in time to save this base. A little unfortunate for me. Nope, I did get that base. Awesome. Swarm Hosts are going to move up into a better position. I have another 11 on the way, plus a big pile of 15 Hydras, but that used up all my money in one sprint. His mutas here are essentially useless at this point. Spores everywhere. Locusts. He's got, +2 armor on his roaches, obviously, which is nice. So he does get over top of my Swarm Hosts. And I mean, the Swarm Hosts do die pretty quickly. It looks like he kills 2. Oh. Hydra's just chilling. Looks like he suicided in his mutas. My queens and crawlers clean that up pretty easy. I actually thought this base didn't die, so I sent another rally of swarm locusts over that way. There's enough locusts here though. They just cut through these roaches. I mean, they are getting Swarm Hosts, but it's not a very worthwhile trade. Hydra's coming in here. 1-1. See, my money's rising really quickly again, but it took me a moment to realize that my gases weren't being taken, so I actually had to retake those, and I had to go for a 4th base. Does he still have mutas left? Yep, still got 5 mutas up there. Going up here to check. He hasn't left the game yet, so I'm assuming he's probably got a hidden base. So I'm going to produce some lings here in a bit to go take care of that, but for now it's more about just taking out his tech and keeping the pressure on him, so he can't build up enough units and run around to attack my base. I want to keep him pinned at home while I go and do what I want with the map. Enough Hydras here. I feel pretty secure. Free locusts. Can't complain. I'm actually going to come down here. Look how quickly these guys snipe down that hatch. So fast. 2-2 starting. More extractors. Full base set up with defenses. Hydras to the side to be able to defend against the roaches coming through. Yeah, that's just not a sustainable practice to trade toe-for-toe with locusts. By the time those ones die, I got more coming. Alright. Shawnee's first swarm host, ZvZ. And actually this is the first game I've played in weeks. I was very proud of myself. You guys should be proud of me too. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll try to have some more of my games show up here in the next little bit.